Greetings and welcome to our daily walk through the scripture for May the 28th. Your readings for today find you in Second Samuel 14 and Second Samuel 15, John chapter 18. We have Psalm 119. We're still working on that one. That's a long one, but a beautiful one. And then Proverbs chapter 16, verses 8 and 9. So today we're going to hang out a little bit with King David. Remember, I told you within the last couple of times that this was going to come back to haunt David, that David's passivity was going to create an issue. And here it comes. David never addressed the death of Amnon, the assault of Tamar, and the murderer Absalom, his son. Now, what happens is that David mourns over his son Absalom. David doesn't ever recognize who Absalom is now. Now, we don't know what Absalom would have been, but we know that he became so obsessed with revenge on his sister that he can't do anything less. And so finally, David allows Absalom back to Jerusalem. Joab, remember Joab, we have the history with Joab. He killed Abner. There's a lot of family dynamics that, once again, David didn't address. And Joab is going to be something that's going to become a problem for David yet again, okay? But Joab convinces a woman to go in and masquerade and convince David to bring Absalom back. David really, honestly, is looking for an excuse. Remember, I told you that David is a populist king, meaning that sometimes what the people want is what David will give. Not quite to the extent that Saul was. That Saul was worried about the responses, but David certainly makes political decisions based on that. And the political decision to keep Absalom away was to keep the people happy, to keep them satisfied that David was making the right choices. This is the reason why David dressed up in mourning clothes when Abner was killed. David was making it very clear he understood the political game. And so he finally brings Absalom back, and Absalom is a conniver. Remember, how long did it take him to kill his brother? It took 2 years. He worked on his plan for 2 years. So now we see something similar where Absalom takes 4 years to do his next plan, which is to take the throne from his father. And so Absalom goes in and he begins to win the hearts of the people. And how does he do it? Well, the birth of Solomon and the death of Uriah and Bathsheba showed kind of a change in how David approached things. At this point, David's getting a little bit later in years. So David becomes more of a kingly king rather than a king of the people. For example, he did not go off to war like he should have. He didn't do those kind of things. He's kind of been removed. And so Absalom recognizes this. So Absalom puts himself up at the city gate. Now, traditionally, city gate is where the elders meet. You see this in different stories, for example, like the book of Ruth, when Boaz goes to visit with the elders. And they go and they hear the problems of the people. So Absalom begins to win the heart of the people. And he goes there and he just says, hey, listen, I hear what you're saying. Let me help you out. You know, if I was king, this wouldn't be a problem at all. So you see Absalom beginning to connive, and finally, at the end of the 4 years, Absalom sneaks away to Hebron, so what's Hebron? Well, Hebron was the capital of Judah. That's where David resided and was king from for a number of years. So there's a ancestral kingship that's happening here. So we got a lot of mechanisms and conspiracies happening, okay? So Absalom went and he got himself crowned king. So David here's what's going on and says, we got to get out of here because he's got the hearts of the people for now. It's time for us to leave. And so David, once again, ends up on the run. Now, interestingly enough, David is still wise enough to leave some advice, okay? He does it to Ittai the Gittite and coming in for advice. He tries to give advice to that, and we're going to see in the later times in the next day, tomorrow, that he's going to leave behind some advisors to kind of frustrate Absalom and create these issues. But these are all downstream effects from David's passivity. And a full confession here. David's my favorite Bible character. Okay, I love David. I think David is the bomb. He's my favorite. So if it looks like I'm being overly critical of David, maybe I am a little bit, but that's because I love him so much. I love who he is. I love his passion for God. No matter what mistakes David makes, he always loves God and is faithful to him. Okay, that's our conversation for today. We will talk more tomorrow.